Welcome to another edition of Around the Ice, a fantasy hockey podcast presented to you by Fantasy and Frames. For those of you wanting to get the best fantasy hockey content, advice, and above all, let's try to be highly entertained tonight for the next hour and a half or so. Tune in every Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, through our YouTube channel, Fantasy and Frames, keeping four eyes on the puck, or Fantasy and Frames Around the Ice on your podcast app of choice. I am your host, Brian Toast Clark, stepping in for our regular show host, Justin JT Taylor. I am joined tonight by our show's regular co-host, Aaron Tomatich, and tonight we got two special guests of the podcast, John Martini, Corey Jensen of our home league here, stepping in tonight to actually do our mock draft, which is going to be part of our mock draft series here on Fantasy and Frames. So as we continue our offseason previews, leading up to the NHL opening night of October 7th, which again, the Blackhawks are getting screwed. They're actually playing the defending champion in their own building, getting the banner. I don't know what they did to deserve all this, but it happens every single year. October 7th. But tonight we plan on delivering our first mock draft, and we're going to become a mock draft series on the Around the Ice podcast. So to ensure we successfully complete this mock draft, both in an appropriate and timely manner, as I was just telling John Martini, one of our guests here, let me jump right into the first mock draft settings. All right, let's go ahead and talk about that. Tonight's mock draft is geared really to our listeners preparing for these yearly redraft leagues. We have a 10-team league, head-to-head weekly matchups. This is not a cap league, not a category league, but we're going to have the following scoring format. We got four points for goals, 2 for assists, 0.2 for shots on goal, 0.3 for hits and blocks. I wouldn't say it's a true banger format, but it's almost like a mini banger, okay? 0.2 for PEMs. We got a 2-point bonus for shorthanded goal, a 3-point bonus for hat tricks, and then goalies. 4 points for a win, 0.2 for a save, only minus 0.5, the only minus on this entire board for goals allowed, and a shutout for 3 points. And rosters, we're going to go with no bench here. We're going to have 16 rounds, going to be all starters, 9 forwards. We're not doing any center, right wing, left wing. That'll be another mock draft episode for this one here, just forwards. We have a utility spot, 4 defensemen, 2 goalies for a total of 16 players. So to give you, the listeners, the best chance to catch your breath during this rapid fire mock, and it's going to be rapid fire, all right? We're going to pause a draft after every third round interval, and we're going to provide you with our thoughts, and then we'll resume the draft and start going again. So before we just jump in here and actually start drafting, we got a few minutes here. Aaron, John, Corey, I want you guys to talk a little bit to the listeners about what's your draft strategy, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent when you actually prepare, let's say, for a redraft league. Any thoughts come to your mind?
Yeah, really 2 things jump out. Well, number one, again, with the 2 thoughts here. Number one, I dusted all 3 of you this past year in our home league. So really, I am going to kind of some of this is tradecraft. So my prep, I don't want to give it to you because last year it was, what was it? Dietz won. He smoked me in the final. But anyway, going into this one, again, like you said, Toast, it's not quite a full-on bangers league, but it's close enough. So essentially what I'll do is target those guys that are, 4.5 points, kind of queue them up, go that route, and then just look for the guys that maybe play third lines. I look at line combinations. Where are the guys playing in the 1-2 lines? Where are they playing in the 3 lines? Because line 3 guys get a lot of ice time in modern day NHL. They shut down the line 1 and 2, especially those home games. So kind of target them for this particular format. But obviously your clear ones, your tier 1 players, Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, that doesn't change. That's every draft. So a lot of this stuff is pretty standard when it comes to that. But I do kind of tweak it a little bit for the bangers light league, I'll say, is kind of strategy going into this one. Then goalies, don't care. As we see, and we'll have that time to recap. Whatever. A goalie will come along in the season, whether he's stealing time from the 1-1 or he's we don't know about him yet. Goalies are weird. They're weird in real life. They're weird in the NHL. It's just whatever. I don't waste time with them, so I'm going to skip them. You'll see.
Yeah, echoing some of what Aaron said. I mean, this is very similar to our home league, so there's not a ton of prep that goes into this for us, right? Like to me, it's there's a little bit of a difference in PIMs and hits, but my philosophy, much like our home league, is especially in early rounds. I'm going for a low floor, and I know I said this last time I was on the podcast, right? Like guys that I know are going to get between 4.5, 5 points a game, and that's where I'm focused at. It just sort of it kind of takes away the peaks and valleys. Toast, you didn't mention this, but just for the listeners, we're each drafting a couple different teams, right? So my philosophy at my second pick is a little bit different than my pick at 7. So we can talk about that during some of the breaks. You'll see. I mean, first couple of rounds, like Aaron said, first 4 or 5 guys, it's flip a coin, right? Your Connor McDavid's, your Austin Matthews, your whoever, they're all going to be the same guys. Draisaitl, it's going to be easy, and then you start making the turn, then it gets a little more aggressive, and looking forward to running through this pretty quickly.
Awesome, Corey.
Yeah. Hey, well, thanks for the invite. Looking forward to this. But yeah, my main thing early, I just go offense. I'm a very offensive driven guy. Try to outside of a McCarr or a Hughes. I'm avoiding defensemen unless they really fall to me, because I feel like I can kind of find those a little bit later, get the points where I need there, but I love to just focus and load up as much as I can on the offense.
Yeah, it's all you guys actually brought up a lot of good things. If you kind of meld all those together and actually get a good balance of all of that, you're going to have a really good draft. A couple of things in mind here as we got 5 minutes before our first mock of the season is going to start. Really, there's only 16 players on this, right? So normally we'd be saying, all right, do we actually want to win a position, right? Because we actually want to get really deep. We have a deep bench, or we want to actually have plenty of this or that. With only 16 roster spots, 10 teams, you're looking at 160 players, right? And that's actually not even counting the goalies who, like Aaron said, they're crap. We actually know they are. They're a pain in the ass. That's why in our home league, we only have to start 1. Right, because we're just like, we just want to eliminate the goalies. Still want to have them around, but just don't want them to actually dictate wins and losses. And this one we'll actually do 2 because that's more the.
Uh-oh.
Lost him.
It's a good freeze frame right there.
Action shot.
Oh, we might have lost Aaron too.
Yeah, lost you guys for a second there. I'm back, I believe. You guys got me?
Yeah, we got you.
All right, yeah.
Looks like Aaron still froze though.
Oh, gotcha. Well, we'll just look at his face that way. That looks pretty darn good right there. So if you're new to fantasy and you're actually doing these redrafts, which I would really highly recommend, do redrafts in fantasy if you're new. Like if you're going to be diving in and doing a categories league or a dynasty league or a cap league, you're going to be in over your head if you're actually. You really actually need to, start easy. And that's kind of what we're actually showing you guys tonight, is actually start easy. And apologies to the listeners. Now we're having a little bit of connection issues here. Hopefully we'll actually get them squared away. John, I know you and I were actually talking about that before the show, and you're going strong, man. Your connection's great. So,
hurry in.
Yeah,
folks.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll say is, you can simply actually go to last year's NHL standings, actually queue up specifically who are the top 12 scoring teams in the entire league on goals, and then actually go ahead and then start looking at their first lines and second lines and their power plays and stuff. If you can do that and you're like, hey, where do I start? Start there. That's always something that I've actually done, and it's actually always served me fairly well in the most part, even though I love to actually really dominate regular seasons. I'm great at that. When we end up getting to playoffs, and that's when I'm just, my guys act as if they'd never picked up a hockey stick before. The entire team. That happens about every year. So looks like I am actually getting a little bit of a message here saying we're on the Wi-Fi. We got to plug into the router type of stuff. I mean, I got a router right over there. I'm pretty strong here. We're losing the guys here and there. We'll deal with that. Okay. So, gentlemen, we are 2 minutes away from actually starting our first mock of the year. We're 76 days away from an opening night puck drop. That's about 7 or 8 weekends from now. We're going to get into our first mock draft. And while you guys are actually putting up your cues, I can actually tell you that what we actually did is we I have 3 teams on this. Aaron has got 3 teams on this. And then Corey and John each have 2 teams. For a total of actually 10 teams, we're going to draft for multiple teams here. We are considering actually having a listeners league. So as we actually get more comfortable doing that, we're going to open that up. But let me go ahead and bring up the draft board, and we will get started. All right. You guys can see the draft board. We got 10 picks per round. It's going to be in serpentine, so we'll actually have a wraparound draft. We should actually get the alert here in 20 seconds, and we'll actually have the Quebec Nordiques and Corey Jensen on the clock with pick number 1 here. And as John was alluding to, it's hard to screw up these first 4, 5, 6 picks. It really, really is. I mean, they're all such great players. It really gets when you're in the second round and you start to actually come to wrap back to the third. How's that going to work out for you, right? So, and we were going to go rapid fire with this, and we'll recap every once in a while.
Here we go. Nathan McKinnon, let's go.
Oh, a little curveball at the top. I figured it was McJesus right out of the gate. I'll take him.
Little too much injury for me. I had to go safer.
Bounce back year for McDavid. Oilers are coming back. This is the year.
Yeah, and pretty amazing, right? You get a bounce back year. McDavid, even 120 points, right? Bounce back season. And he's just spoiled everybody in fantasy. He really, really has. And he gets 120 points, and he's used to getting 150. And so it's just a situation where, boy, I mean, you can't go wrong with him or McKinnon. Those are, I think, by far and away, they're the best 2 players in the game right now. And for them to go 1, 2 in any order is really no surprise at all. And we'll see if Aaron's actually got a decent connection, and we'll actually get him back for his 3rd pick coming up here. Now, Corey, as far as the defenseman, I know every draft's a little bit different and whatnot, but do you like to wait on defensemen? You like to actually, get them early? Or does it kind of depend on how you tier them?
Yeah, like I said, it's like unless one of the big dogs really falls, and they typically don't, I'm definitely waiting about as long as I can wait.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not toast. I'm taking them when I can get them. The pickings and defensemen, I mean, there's tiers to everything. In my opinion, there's about 5 guys in that top tier. If I can get one of those guys in the first 3 or 4 rounds, I'm taking it. And there's not a big spread between them. And we'll see how this shakes out. But I'm coming for a defenseman here, maybe 3 or 4.
Good deal. Yep. And Leon Draisaitl there. And good pick, Aaron. I'm actually going to come back with Nikita Kucherov. And I think if you look at Kucherov, McDavid, McKinnon, and Draisaitl, those are your first 4 consensus top 4 in most formats.
You guys can hear me. I know we got some multiple teams. You actually got to switch the team, so that was all on me. You got to switch the team there. I've never done that multiple teams, so I had to pick it, click on it, and then there's a little all your assigned teams are there. You just got to click it real quick. So
is that over to the right, Aaron, on roster? If you click on roster on your right hand side of your screen, go ahead and make sure you're on that. Is that how you have to do it?
There's that space, and then there's one on the very far left that you can click. There's a little drop-down arrow. This is the Whatnot app, which Fantrax app, which I would recommend everybody use. It's great, but it's on the left, and there's a little bar under the team name with your initials and the little drop-down caret, and you can switch teams that way.
Gotcha. Okay. And I believe I'm actually up. And so let's go ahead and I think another one that's pretty darn easy is David Pastrnak. You hope that Pastrnak continues to actually produce at the level he's actually used to producing. He's got not as much help as he's actually in the past. They're definitely in a retool/rebuild. A Geeky will actually be a really, really good sneaky pick at some point in this draft.
Couldn't disagree with you more. Pasta should be a tail end pick. Everybody listening? No. Boston is tanking. They're terrible. I think this guy's going to get impacted by it. Now he's good, but
All right.
Can't disagree.
I'm going to win this. I'm
Gonna
going
run
to
with
win
the,
this. One
hot
of my
playoffs.
teams.
Run with the hot playoffs from Miko and the new location.
He was good. What is he getting? 4 or 5 goals a game there?
Pretty much.
All right, we're pick number 7. Back to the California Golden Seals and John Martini.
It's the Seals, not something else. All right, I've got them queued up. I'm having the same problem Aaron had. Give me a second. We'll work through this.
And the queue only follows one team, John. So
Yeah,
you're
that's what I'm struggling with. I built a big queue for that first team.
So
and
did
when
I.
switched teams,
Yeah,
I'm like,
now
uh-oh.
I got to start over. Golly.
By the time we get to round 5, 6, 7, we'll have this figured out and we'll be rolling.
It'll be smooth. Yeah, it'll be smooth sailing. Hang on.
And some of those out there, again, if you're just jumping into this, like Toast said, redraft's the way to go. It's the least complex. You're not in a dynasty league. You're not in a salary cap league. You kind of work your way to those. Those are by far the most fun formats. You have to really make decisions. Do I pay this guy, especially if a salary dynasty league, do I pay this guy 12 million, 13? What do you do with Mitch Marner? He's going to get 1 million points this year, but is he worth the 12? I don't know. So that's fun. You work your way to that, but this redraft league is you're okay probably to follow the default list that comes with Fantrax or Yahoo or ESPN or NHL.com. You're usually pretty okay just following those lists for these simple redraft.
Good deal. Yeah, and John, do you want me to pause the draft, or are you actually?
No, I got it.
Okay, good deal. Just want to make sure. Awesome.
It's
Matt Boldy, isn't it? It's Matt Boldy. It's going to be this.
Oh, see, there you go. First goalie off the board with Connor Hellebuyck.
No, I think that's an auto draft. That's not at all what I did there, Toast.
Okay, well, and I figured maybe as such, but I tell you what, here's the deal. Regardless, we'll have to see how that team, California Seals, ends up. Hellebuyck is by far and away in a tier of his own, and it's not even close. And Austin Matthews at 8 is an unbelievable steal there for the Cleveland Barons and the 8th pick. But Hellebuyck, that could end up being really, really good again. He's in a tier of his own. It's not even close. It's not even close with the defending league MVP. They don't get a whole lot of MVP for goalies there, but let's see how that team actually shapes out. I kind of like that actually happen. And Brady Tkachuk, my guy, actually goes at number 9. A Bangers League dream, man. That guy, I mean, it's just there's nothing he actually can't do. And talk about winning positions.
I looked at him pretty hard at 6, just because of the banger points.
Yep. I think in our true banger format, this is a top 3, top 4 pick in our current home league.
And I have back-to-back picks here with the Colorado Rockies, and I'm happy to take McCarr with the first pick and really to come back in there and actually get Kaprizov. And I think that's a really, really good churn for a team there. You're winning the position at the defense, and it doesn't matter which format it is. He's actually the best player, and Kaprizov is arguably a top 6 or 7 player. All right, and so Aaron, you're up, but it looks like Corey, you just got a couple minutes here. Now, Corey, you said you'd actually maybe wait on goalies a little bit. Is that what you said?
Yeah, goalies and defense for sure.
Good deal. So you like to come out real heavy with the forwards, get a lot of scoring actually out of the gate there, and then worry about maybe getting some late round steals. So the prep for a draft, I would imagine that you're really you're looking for which defensemen are actually my late round steals, which goalies can actually get, and just loading up. Also, there's a trade format potential, right? So, I mean, you got a trade potential there.
And I always feel like some defenseman comes out of nowhere, a guy who maybe hadn't been seeing top, power play line, gets on the power play, and all of a sudden comes out of nowhere. It's a late ad. Yeah, they're a little easier to find in the top end offense that I would be passing up on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I should have predicted that. He slid there. Jackie Hughes. He's
Jack
going to
Hughes at the
toast.
2.6 there. And again, I think we're all finding some really good value. This is going to start getting a little bit more difficult where, okay, the heavy hitters are kind of coming off the board here, and we're starting to really have to maybe think here a little bit. There's still a bunch of unbelievably great players, no doubt about it. But I want to say that this top 15, 16 here, this is pretty much a consensus. I wouldn't think anybody would argue with that. There's a couple out there that may be able to fit their way into that group, but this is pretty much your consensus here. All right, you know what? And I'll go ahead and go with the first stack here, and you got Nikita Kucherov in round 1 here for the Coyotes, and I'm going to go ahead and stack him up with Braden Point. And usually I'm not a big fan of actually doing stacks, but again, we want to go ahead and give a variance here on experiment with a couple of these teams and see specifically how it turns out here a little bit. We'll recap it here at the end. And we got our picks 2-8, 2-9, and 2-10 end up the second round coming up. Now, Kyle Connor, absolutely. Kyle Connor, he belongs in that group. Great pick there by the Hartford Whalers there and Aaron Tomatich. And Aaron, as John actually gets ready for his pick number 2-9 with another great one there in Matthew Tkachuk. So let's just say you're managing one of these teams here and actually not 3. Okay. And again, you said you're going to wait on goalie. What round would you actually think you're going to consider taking goalie? And will you come out of the gate and it would suggest actually going pretty forward heavy for a while?
It's tough to say. I mean, I'd say Hellebuck is in a tier. He's in a 1-1. It's a pretty big fall off from there, I would say. So at this point, I'm probably looking around 7 to 8, 7 to 8 maybe.
So as I said, I'm not a defense guy. I'm sitting here staring at Quinn Hughes, and he's one of those guys that, my opinion, he's in the 3rd round. This is where I would take a guy like him. I mean, I'm not gonna jump on him earlier, but in the same aspect, he can be a difference maker. Typically, I let somebody else pick him, but we're gonna go that route.
That's a great pick there. And usually you don't see Hughes actually slide to the first pick of the 3rd round. But again, we're managing a lot of different teams together here, but we'll actually call out value when we see it. And in a league like this, Hughes may not be a bangers league, and he may be down in the scoring format. But let's say you're in Dynasty. Let's say you're in categories or any other ones that does not actually. I think we have an Alex Nylander here. Martini, we may undo that pick.
Yeah, that's not right. I was looking for Willie.
Yep, that's all right. He actually went there in the 2nd round here. Let me actually see if I can actually undo that last pick. Yep.
Sorry, Toast.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead, and I'll have you go again.
Yep.
This is again, and take your guys' time. If it ends up being when we need to take a part of the minute here to think about it, It's okay. We got plenty of time. We're going to pause the draft here, and we're going to recap these first 3 rounds here very shortly. Ooh, man, I tell you, in the 3rd round here so far, Quinn Hughes at 3-1, Panarin at 3-2, and Tage Thompson at 3-3. Tage Thompson at 3-3, that's really, really good. Very, very good value there. Like that a lot.
Yeah, we got a bone to pick at one of these pauses here. Tage Thompson.
Yeah,
home league.
Been waiting for this
Yeah. Home league. We're going to discuss some home league controversy. I hope we can fit that in this episode because we'll build the suspense.
Yep, and I'm actually drafting for the Coyotes here. To Nikita Kucherov, Braden Point. I'm going to continue to go ahead and just try to maybe be very top 2, 3 in each position, and also get teams that score an absolute ton, both with Tampa Bay there, and we'll come out with Evan Bouchard as a defenseman there at 3-4. That could be a little early in a banger format or a mini banger format, but still a great player who it wouldn't surprise me at all if he ends up getting 17, 18 goals, another 65 to 70 assists, and he's actually knocking the door to 85 points. And you get that in any format. I don't care if you don't bang a whole lot. That's a great player right there to actually have.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you got the three again. If you look at these in tiers, and I know we've done, I think in our preview last year we did the tiering system. These guys, I think we've got, maybe there's one more tier 1 defenseman who was a rookie last year. Like, and to Corey, to your point, some of these guys do come out of nowhere. I mean, defensemen with only 3 pair, they get a lot of ice time, so there's a lot of room where they can play. But I'd say these 3 definitely are that tier 1 of defense. Probably, yeah. We'll have to see where. Really look forward to see what Dobson does. Montreal, Dobson going there. Probably cut into Lane Hudson's time a little bit. Obviously, in that Lane Hudson, the rookie I was referring to, that showed up and really played well. I think set the record, right, for rookie assists, I think was his record. So should be fun to watch his sophomore effort this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Great call out there. And I tell you what, the team, the California Seals with John Martini went Hellebuck on accident to start off, comes back really, really strong with Forsberg and gets all of our favorite, Tim Stützle, at 3-7. That's shaping up to be a great team. I mean, so again, kind of glad that happened with the goalie to come out of the gate there. Listeners can actually learn quite a bit about that here. And we're 3 picks away from actually ending our 3rd round, and we'll recap all of these here, and we'll have a quick discussion about it before we end up going to the 4th round here. Ottawa, a playoff team last year. They actually got swept in the 1st round, but I just think that team actually making the playoffs was a big step forward for that team. With having Tkachuk and having Tim Stützle and Drake Batherson, now Dylan Cousins actually comes over from Buffalo as well, and a Jake Sanderson. And Linus Ullmark actually gives them a little bit of stability there at the goalie. What do you guys actually think about an Ottawa team from a fantasy perspective, and also too from an NHL perspective?
I think they're on the come toast. I think they got over the hump this year. They made the playoffs. I agree with you. Everything kind of said there. Brady Tkachuk leading the charge. Jake Sanderson. This has got to be the year he makes the leap, right? He's been a budding prospect. The Four Nations performance. I mean, he's just there. He's got all the tools. If he can stabilize the back end, Ullmark in goal. Dylan Cousins coming over. I think they've just kind of filled out the roster a little bit. They got a lot of depth. I don't know if they're going to win the conference, but they're a playoff team for sure.
I really like Cousins coming over. I think he just kind of ran out of steam in Buffalo on a bad team. I think this is going to be kind of something that rejuvenates him, and it's going to be a great line 2 driver.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. They're a fun team. Everybody knows they're like one of my favorite teams, them and the Blackhawks and Columbus as well. And those 3 are just great. So let's recap the first 3 rounds here. I'm going to go through them real fast, okay? And again, those of you who've actually joined us late, we are actually at a 16-player league, head-to-head scoring format, 9 forwards, 1 utility, 4 defensemen, 2 goalies there for 16, no bench. We're basically just going to go 160 players for this draft, and we're actually 30 players in so far. We're making very, very good time. But I'm going to rattle through these here. We're not doing positions either, right wing, center, left wing. We're just doing forwards for this first draft as well. So McKinnon, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Kucherov go 1 through 4. No surprise there. Then you have Pasternak, Rantanen, Hellebuck as goalie. Again, we'll talk about that. I like the strategy, even though it was actually not unintentional. And Austin Matthews, Brady Tkachuk, and Cale Makar actually round out the top 10. I'm going to say right now, that order of players there, let's say minus Hellebuck, all right? Makar, Tkachuk, Rantanen, Matthews, Pasternak, Kucherov. I don't really see any huge surprises there in the first round.
No, same.
Yeah.
Again, with the format, if it's not a banger league, maybe Brady drops. Even then it's I could see Kaprizov, I could see Willie Stiles coming in, maybe over Brady, but no, Makar, no. I think all these guys are legit round 1, with the only outlier being Brady Brady Tkachuk because of the Boehner aspect.
Yeah, one thing that jumps out to me, guys, is there's two, I would say, top 15 actually technical hockey players that have not been drafted yet. Sidney Crosby and Alexander Barkov, right? Like those are guys you want on your team. If you're playing real hockey, you're starting your team with those dudes, but they haven't been drafted here. Crosby's a point per game guy for 15, 17 years in a row. Barkov right behind him. I mean, those are tremendous hockey players, but they kind of show up in a fantasy format like this. They don't carry quite as much value as some of the guys on the board. I'm a little bit surprised that they haven't gone yet, but they will go here pretty quick.
Yeah, great call out. Absolutely. And again, this may be a product of us actually managing multiple teams, right? And just really actually be on a quick clock where normally a little bit slower of a clock. We may have a 3-4 minute clock. You would actually have only owning one team. Odds are Crosby probably would have went by now, but boy, you got to look at, he's got Ricard Raquel. He's got Brian Rust, an aging backline there, and Chris Letang and Eric Carlson. But this is not going to be a very good hockey team, right? And I think everybody kind of knows that. But we know one thing, man. $8.7 million deal for 2 more years. Every single contract's been $8.7 million because of his number there. And Crosby had a heck of a year last year. He really did. When he goes, let's talk about his stats briefly. When he ends up going, I'll bring him up. But that is definitely a guy that's going to go here soon. So the second round, Kirill Kaprizov, William Nylander, Mitch Marner, Philip Forsberg, Jack Eichel, Jack Hughes, Braden Point, Kyle Connor, Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Reinhart. I will say, I think Kaprizov actually going 2-1 was probably fine. If Hellebuck didn't go in the first round, he would actually probably been slid up there into the top 10. But Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Reinhart going 2-9 and 2-10, that's great value there. If you were to be able to actually have those two guys near the churn, and you're looking at a Stars team there with John Martini, who drafted 2nd overall with Connor McDavid, Matthew Tkachuk, and Timmy Panarin. That's a really, really good team there to start off with. But any thoughts on the second round, guys? And then we'll briefly recap the third round and keep going.
Yeah, I would love to see a full season out of Kaprizov. I just think it'd be pretty amazing what he can do.
And I tell you, with Kaprizov, if there is the potential for a full season, no injuries, it's this year. This is his free agency year. This is his last year on the current contract. So I think we might see him maybe push through some of those. Not to say he hasn't been hurt, but if this is the year for him. So again, you're doing a redraft league, you're doing a dynasty league, something to maybe track. These guys play for that bank, play for those sheets. This is the time to look at him. Big year for him.
Yeah. Let's recap the third round real quick. 3-1 Quinn Hughes. Then we got Panarin, Tage Thompson, Evan Bouchard, Alex Ovechkin, Gensel, Stützle, Vinny Krocek, which is a great banger choice there. Great banger choice. Jason Robertson from Dallas, and then Nick Suzuki at 310. I will say the Hughes, Panarin, Thompson, Ovechkin, Gensel, Stützle, Robertson, those could easily all be second rounders. I mean, they're just really, really good players. Great fantasy options there as well. They're on great teams. So what I'm saying is those guys are in the second round versus third round. I wouldn't actually be opposed at all if those were flip-flopped. I really wouldn't. There'd be a couple that were like head scratchers, but honestly, you got real good players. I think those are the usual suspects actually going to top 30 there.
I'm a seller. I'm a seller on Ovechkin this year, Toast. I think he's a prime regression candidate, both him personally and the Capitals as a team. Tremendous year last year. I just don't know what's driving Ovechkin. I mean, the grade 8 chase was a big storyline all year last year. I worry that maybe there's some regression coming. I don't know if I would have gone for Ovechkin there in the third round. I love Suzuki. I maybe would have flip-flopped those two. I think Montreal, much like Ottawa, is on the come. Both playoff bound. I think Suzuki leading the charge there. I maybe would have flip-flopped those, but otherwise, I'm a seller on Ovechkin this year.
Yep, and it was interesting how we said that last year and stuff. It happened, but he was chasing that goal record, right? And it will be interesting this year, John, and I can't disagree with any of that as well. What I will say is I wonder what the over-under is going to be for goals scored. And we'll actually have to look at our betting segment there and see specifically if he is anywhere in the 30s overright, then we definitely have to look at that because even Ovechkin regression, if he gets all 82, and last year was a fluke, we're breaking the leg and actually missing 17 and still actually hitting up like 45, 46 goals. If he plays a full season 82, which he normally does, I would say odds are he's probably going to get over that 39 and a half, whatever. If he's anywhere in the 30s, I would say hammer the hell out of that. Yeah, Sidney Crosby here is pretty darn easy. Martini kind of reminded everybody here that he was available, and I think that most drafts he's not going to last at 31. I don't care how old he is. I don't actually care what the format is. Sid Crosby last year, 33 goals, 58 assists, 91 points in 80 games as a 36-year-old. Last year, he's 37 this year, 227 shots on goal, 20.22 time on ice. That's why he's a top 10 player of all time.
He just gets it done year after year.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt Boldy goes at 4-2. And we'll recap some of these teams here soon and kind of see after this next 3 rounds, after 6 picks, we'll take a look at the teams and see who do we like so far. Not a Chicago Blackhawk taken so far. No surprise there. Not a Detroit Red Wing actually taken so far either. Not an Anaheim Mighty Duck. We actually don't have a San Jose Shark taken yet as well. You guys in Seattle, you guys can see the format here again. The cream rises to the top. These players actually play for the best teams. They put up the most goals. They're playing with the best players around them. It's no surprise they're the ones actually going. There's some great players that are at bottom. They're actually running solo by themselves. Connor Bedard actually just goes. Love that pick. They're going to actually wait a little time in these drafts. And it's not because they're not great players. They are. They just don't have the help around them that their teams do. So to recap so far, we got Crosby at 4-1, Boldy at 4-2, Cole Caulfield at 4-3, the first Montreal Canadian actually taken. Great pick. He's over 40 goals here. He'll be over 40 again. Connor Bedard at 4-4. And Mark Scheifele, who had a career season, man, and saying a lot because Scheifele's actually been amazing his entire career, but he was a fantasy machine last year at 4-5. We'll see if he can actually replicate what he did last year.
And while you're talking about Scheifele here, and I know you're picking toast, so Scheifele shot it just under 22% last year. So, like you were saying, Martini, with the Ovechkin potential there for a regression, I'd kind of put Scheifele in that as well. Is potentially nobody shoots 22%, or very few do over the course of an 82-game season. That's a tough mark to hit and maintain. So I historically there are some that have been there. I just don't think it's Mark Scheifele.
I think Winnipeg as a whole. I mean, again, you're relying on Hellebuck to stand on his head most of the time, right? Like, I just think the puck, they just had a lot of puck luck last year. A great season, good record. Nick Ehlers is gone. Scheifele, career year, does it happen again this year? I don't think so. I don't see it.
Yep.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
Kyle Connor and him have something special, though.
They do.
But I couldn't agree more. I mean, boy, as you guys are picking there, 39 goals, 48 assists for 87 points, 82 games played them all. 21.5, as actually Aaron mentioned, on shot percentage. It's going to come down, right? It's just a matter of how much would actually come down. And given the fact that he is a 17.2% career shooter, okay, you're like, hey, he's got a high career shooting percentage, but he only shot 181 times last year. He didn't even make it over 200 shots. We'll have to see what he actually does this year. But I like taking one more chance on him. He is now actually 32 years old. If you're going to take a chance on him, it better be this year because after that, you would have to imagine there's going to be some regression coming.
Yeah, Hellebuck did. I have to look at their defense plays well. Defensively, Winnipeg's always sound. And then our guy Johnny Taves going there, that can do nothing but boost the room. So maybe Scheifele will get that second win with a guy like Johnny T coming back. Can't wait to see him. Actually, talked to a friend today. We looked at the tickets for when Jets are here at the Hawks. It's January 19th. Yeah, about $130 a ticket for the nosebleeds. But I know Toast, you were there and we talked about this on the pod. But you were there for the Caner game, his return, which was kind of one of those once in a lifetime moments. I would expect the same for the captain.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to recap as we're continuing to go. You guys continue to pick here. The fourth round here, we had Crosby, Boldy, Caulfield, Bedard, Scheifele, Werenski, Clayton Keller for Utah. First player taken off the board for Utah. Martin Necas, a great player. That could be a steal, right? You're going to be looking at a draft board like this, and like I'm saying, it's going to be second fiddle to McKinnon. Not sure exactly where Landeskog's going to be with his health, whatnot. Necas is a great pick there at 4.8. Of course, Aaron Tomatich actually gets him. So great team, great situation. He put up huge numbers of Colorado, and he can only get better. It would not shock me at all if Necas is actually 90 points plus next year. It would not shock me. And then Rasmus Dahlin at 4.9 and Brandon Hagel at 4.10.
Yeah, if he can stay on that top line with McKinnon, the sky's the limit.
Definitely. And I expect he will. Corey, maybe check and see what their projected lines are actually going to be next year. And I would imagine he is definitely going to be the projected top line. And I would imagine I don't think he's going to get any challenge from anybody else. Could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so either.
All right, and the fifth round we got Tom Wilson at 5.1. Great banger option there. Great banger option. He's going to do a little bit of everything on a good Washington team. And then John Martini actually comes back at 5.2 and gets his guy, Macklin Celebrini. What a rookie season for Celebrini. And last year, I have to ask, last year was his rookie year, right? Yeah, it's amazing. 25 goals, 38 assists, 63 points in 70 games with a 10.6 shooting percentage. 236 shots. He didn't even shoot high. Like 507 faceoffs, 544 48% at the dot. This guy, he's going to be a top 15 player in the league here in 2 years. He's that good.
And San Jose is going to be terrible again this year, right? Like they're a really exciting, fun team to watch. They don't play a lot of defense, but I just think they're going to be in some shootouts. I love the value of him here in the fifth round.
Yeah, great value here in the fifth round. All right, I'm on the board here. I need to pay attention to see what the hell's going on here.
100%. I'd say, and while you're picking Toast, a little bit more here on Celebrini. Not only a great pick there, to be honest, I forgot about him. Probably would have taken him last round on one of these teams. Maybe the just great all-around player. But the thing about the Sharks, and again, a couple pods ago we talked about this, Hawks built the team from the net out. Sharks built their team from forward back. It's a race to the finish line. We'll see. Next year should continue that story. Like which team will have the rebuild the quickest? Which will, by quickest, I would define success by who makes the playoffs. Is it going to be, I think, structurally defense out is the way to go to build a franchise, but it's a new NHL. It's a speed game. These guys are playing. You can with the new rules, you can play college. You can play junior, the Canadian major junior leagues. You can go back and forth. You got the NIL money with college, so higher level competition. So these kids are going to be more, in my predict, they'll be more NHL ready, and we'll see maybe more ice time like Celebrini, like Will Smith. These fancy scorers that'll get out there and score year one. They probably won't put up numbers like Celebrini did, but it'll be a different game. So we'll see. We'll see what the way to do it is. Oh, nice! You got to be kidding me. The one team I had queued up for the Barons, and there he goes. Good pick.
That I will say this right now. Matthew Nyes will win some fantasy leagues this year.
Yeah,
like that guy. He's a little bit off the radar. Marner's down the road in Vegas now. Austin Matthews, Matthew Nyes, little bit under the radar. He hasn't hit stardom yet, but he is on the cusp of a 40-45 goal season. Just like Wyatt Johnson.
Yep. Yeah. A very popular pick in Wyatt Johnson last year. And I wouldn't say that Johnson actually had a bad season last year. He really did it. 33 goals, 38 assists, 71 points in 82 games. So honestly, he had a slow start. He actually did better than he actually did in his year 21 or year 20 season. So, it's a superstar in the making. Wyatt Johnson, great value here. I would imagine he's probably Robertson. he's coming up on the end of that deal. I don't think, did he end up signing? Did Robertson end up signing another contract, or is he still a UFA coming up?
Let me take a look.
UFA coming up. He is not re-signed.
What's that?
He is not re-signed.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. I will say that I think Wyatt Johnson, great pick there. I think that he's definitely going to be their second option there behind Miko Rantanen. And we're ending the 5th round here, and I'll take a guy that I just traded for in our home league here, and that I'm in love with. And I think the sky's the limit for Kirill Marchenko as well. Let's recap this. Round 5, we went Tom Wilson, Max Celebrini, Seth Jarvis, Jesper Bratt, Sebastian Aho, Alexander Barkov, Matthew Nyes, Wyatt Johnston, JT Miller, and then Kirill Marchenko to end up the 5th round. Let's go ahead and do a quick 6th round here, and we'll have a real quick discussion. We've been doing that on the fly. Let's keep going, boys. There's a couple teams that still don't always actually drafted anyone yet. But again, you're going to get great value come 7th, 8th round in those guys. And now we're getting to the point where there's only 5 defensemen off the board through 5 rounds. We only have actually 1 goalie. We all have the same philosophy of goalie. So it'll be interesting to see once the goalies actually go and you have to start 2, will the floodgates open up?
I take my goalies early, Toast.
He tried to claim it was an accident, but we all know it was on purpose.
Yeah, that's
I know.
right.
I think there's gamesmanship going on here. I'm not going to show you.
Hellebuck's he's available for trade here. I'll take a 6th and 7th round pick. Anybody?
I'm going to take Adrian Kempe at 6'1". Kempe is a guy who actually hits a whole lot. He had 100 hits last year. He'll shoot the puck a ton, 237 times last year, 35 goals, so 73 points in 81 games. He is the best player on that team by far. They have Kevin Fiala as well. But I look for guys who shoot the puck on my fantasy teams. I want guys to be well over 200 shots a game in the first 5, 6, 7, or a year for the first 5, 6, 7 rounds. I want the guys that put the puck on net, put it on often, goal scorers, and also if they can throw some hits in there. And Kempe, he covers all that. Jake Sanderson, another defenseman off the board. And Aaron Tomatich with the Cleveland Barons continues his forward barrage with no defensemen yet, no goalies, but I like what's actually happening there. John Martini comes back at 6'4" with Lane Hudson. So, guys, let's talk about Lane Hudson real quick. And, Martino, I'll ask you. They end up getting the big trade in the offseason, right? So they got Noah Dobson actually coming over. Now they actually got Lane Hudson. I see some early projecting that Lane Hudson will actually still be that power play 1 quarterback, and Dobson will be number 2. Any concern with actually those guys there in the event that you were drafting for your own team in a real draft here?
No, I don't. I think, again, Hudson is the quarterback of that team, that core. You think about that young core. You got Slavkovsky, you got Caulfield, and you've got Suzuki. Like, that's your top line. That's your PP1. Those guys are this, again, much like Ottawa and Montreal. They're very similar on their trajectories right now. They're going to score a ton of goals. Marty St. Louis is going to open it up a little bit this year. I think they did that about midpoint of the last year, kind of took the reins off the young guys a little bit. I just see a ton of points coming out of Montreal this year.
Nice.
Don't forget Demidov on that power play.
Don't forget Demidov.
Yeah.
Can't forget about my guy.
All he does is shoot. He doesn't pass. He's going to get – what's the over-under on his assists? If it's under 20, I'm on that. You're talking about Ovi goals. I'm talking about Demidov assists. It will be low. He is all goals all the time. Shoot the puck. I don't care if it hits the net. I don't care if it hits 10 people. He is shoot first. I love it. Love it for fantasy, too. Fun guy to watch.
We got 3 more picks here in the 6th round, and we'll actually take like a 2-minute break there and just have a little bit of dissertation here. And we're moving along in a nice clip here. I think we will get done by 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, even though we actually have 16 rounds. There's going to be a little bit less thought going in the late rounds. I'll take it anyway. We really want the listeners to actually get a good feel for how's your first 8, 9, 10 rounds when they go in your redraft league. Who should I actually target? And again, look here. You got right now, we got 1, 2, 3 teams that did not actually have a defenseman and did not actually have a goalie. There's only one goalie off the board. There's 3 teams with no defenseman yet. That's okay because right now we only have 7 defensemen off the board. I'm actually showing right now top-rated defensemen: Mackenzie Weegar, Moritz Seider, Victor Hedman, John Morrissey, Mikhail Sergachev. These are all power play 1 quarterbacks. They hit, they block a ton. These are great options. I would have no problem waiting until now to actually to take some of these guys. So if you waited on
grabbing a
defenseman,
banger.
good. Kiefer Sherwood actually just went, and I believe 462 hits last year. This is short of just amazing.
Set the record, and not by a little, by a lot. He hit the record. I think he had probably 20 games to go. So at game 62 or whatever it was, every other hit was just banking that record. It's like a Gretzky record. Nobody will touch it.
I'll wrap up that round 6.
All right, I'll go ahead and pause the draft here real quick. And any thoughts, guys, so far on his 6th round? We got Kempe at 6'1", Sanderson, the defenseman, Nico Hischier, the often injured guy, but man, when he's in there, and he was actually there last year, he is unbelievably productive. He got on a hot goal streak last year there for a bit. Lane Hudson, 6 goals, 60 assists last year. Rookie season, he's going to be great. He just doesn't hit block. His peripherals are just not there. Travis Konecny, he's got to be the bona fide number 1 player for Philadelphia. If you're looking to win a player and actually win a team anyway, Konecny is a great choice there at 6'5". Timo Meier at 6'6", a Bangers League dream. Alex Tuck, man, does a little bit of everything. And you got to think, if he's going to ride the coattails of Tage Thompson last year at 6'7", I think that's a great pick. Kiefer Sherwood, nothing short of just a goon on the ice. 462 hits at 6'8". He would not have actually went this high if it was not hits being worth 0.3. He would have maybe even been undrafted. But in this format, very, very valuable. 6'9", Moritz Seider. And then lastly, Drake Batherson. And from the Ottawa Senators, the 3rd Senator taken behind Kachuk, Stützle, and then Batherson to round out the top 10. Guys, let's take a look at our draft board so far. What do you guys like? Which teams are actually shaping out to actually be fairly good? We'll take a couple minutes.
I just feel like this early, the teams are pretty stacked still. It's going to be these mid rounds that kind of separate everybody.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a particular team I like. I think just looking at the purple squares here, defensemen, it's pretty obvious that this to me, this is that first tier of defensemen. There's a couple guys coming up here, like Roman Josi hasn't gone yet. It was a little surprising. I know he's got some injury stuff. I know he's getting a little old. But this is kind of that first tier of defensemen. These are the guys that should go first 7, 8, 9 picks as far as defensemen. You're shooting from the hip a little bit once we go into the later rounds. I love the Whalers team here, though. I mean, Draisaitl, Connor, Thompson, Natchez, Jarvis, Sherwood. I mean, you're pretty stacked there, Aaron.
Yeah, the thought there is kind of like with, again, we can't say it. We've already said it. You can't say it enough. You got to know your team format. A spot's a spot. So this is all forwards. We don't have, the scarcity that is the right wing position. We don't have the overabundance of left wings and centers. So we're not real worried about that because these are all forwards. At the same time, our defense, we're not real worried about that either. These are all open spots that'll score on a nightly basis. So that's kind of thought behind that. So not real tied down to missing out on that. If you miss the first tier, you miss it. The second tier will be there for a while. So I think
Did we lose our hosts?
It looks like it.
Both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
all right. You guys can hear me?
Yeah.
I think we lost Toast. Is that right?
Yeah, I think I'm back
I
now.
dipped out a little too.
Yeah. Am I back,
I
guys?
didn't like how the draft was going, so I texted Toast to go ahead and pull the plug. I didn't forgot about Celebrini, so that's my
Now,
guy.
Ed, do you guys have me back?
But yeah, to kind of finish the thought there, it's just I'd say the most rounded team, that Stars team, heavy upside on the defense. I think Mo Sider, breakout year. Detroit's make or break. They don't make the playoffs. Yzerman is on thin ice, so I like that as a breakout candidate for a tier 1 defenseman. Oh, there he is. Toast.
That's right.
Yep, I am back. Sorry, guys. This might be the last time we actually got kicked out, but I've resumed the draft there. Let's go ahead and start our 7th, 8th, and 9th round there, and we'll actually do a little bit more of a recap there. And we got the Nordiques with Corey Jensen on the board there. He's already taken McKinnon, Reinhart, Quinn Hughes, Brandon Hagel, Tom Wilson, and Drake Batherson. Will he actually come back with defensemen? Or no, Dylan Holloway for St. Louis Blues. Holloway, what a offer sheet last year that worked out great for the Blues. It'll be interesting to see. Holloway is such a young player, but man, what a good season he actually had, and he'll hit. He hits a lot. 165 hits, 50 blocks, 17 minutes time on ice. A very, very good pick there. And we have Dylan
Cooley and
Larkin.
Sherwood. There you go.
Yeah, Sherwood and Cooley. I mean, we're gonna have to name the Hartford Whalers and rename that team for sure.
Beer League Bangers, Beer League Whalers.
So the Coyotes here already have one defenseman, Evan Bouchard. I'll go ahead and get another one here with Mackenzie Weegar. Weegar's a guy who actually gets a ton of hits, a ton of blocks, and a ton of shots on goal. He'll actually have 200 shots on goal and 200 hits as well, and get a ton of blocks. Again, really good in a 0.3 hits and blocks bangers format.
I was really hoping he was going to slip down to the Scouts there for another couple rounds.
Yeah. And both these teams, I'm actually controlling the Coyotes and the Thrashers as well. I don't feel as good about the Thrashers as my I guess I should. I'm looking at them there as the Coyotes, but do I actually want to come out here at 7-5 and go ahead and just round out some defensemen, right? And actually just go ahead and take care of that position here. This is a matter of who am I going to get, right? So I think right now I'm going to hold off because there's a big grouping of guys I actually like, and but you got to be thinking scouts coming up here. They need a defenseman, right? So that's a Thrasher's thought right now. Should you go defenseman and jump in front, or actually go ahead and go skaters here? And right now, I'm going to go ahead and actually go skater. And we're going to go ahead and go Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett actually had a great playoff season. Again, a great guy in a bangers or a mini bangers league format. Does a little bit of everything, and I think he just found out how good he could be in the playoffs this year. Wondering what Sam Bennett will do this upcoming season.
Toast is ducking out on purpose. He's got to defend that last pick at 7-5 with Sam Bennett. Fantasy doesn't go in the playoffs. What are you doing picking him? But he cashed in, and rightfully so. Oh, Victor Hedman. Wow. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
First defenseman on the Scouts there.
Yeah. Time to add him.
And he again, you can argue with, age is kind of catching up. I mean, statistically, I don't see it, but Mitchkov, another Russian, but yeah, with Hedman, I mean, he's still on a contender, still playoff ready team. You could argue him as a tier 2 defenseman, I think, all day. I don't even think it's an argument. I think it's just a fact.
Now we actually have Matvei Mitchkov come off at 7-7 on the board for the Philadelphia Flyers. A really productive rookie season. I mean, it was really hard for him to get a gauge on him with playing in a John Tortorella system last year. And you know how Torts actually just has no patience for any players at all, especially at that age and whatnot. He didn't last there that long, but all in all, he's not going to get you a lot of hits, not a lot of blocks. But for a rookie campaign, getting 200 shots on goal, 63 points in 80 games, I mean, Mitchkov was all he was advertised for sure.
Counting on the addition by subtraction. You hit it on the head. So Schwartz is out of the picture. Mitchkov, take the reins off. Let him go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Lucas Raymond comes off the board at 7-8. Now we're coming to 7-9 and 7-10 with two teams that actually have defensemen. They got plenty of offensive firepower. Do they actually go goalie or not? Again, it's a cat and mouse game with goalies at this point. No surprise we're actually coming up on the 8th round, and there was only one goal at the board. And if it wasn't for the mess up with the pick, odds are I think Hellebuck probably would have went, but this is no surprise. There's only one goalie off the board right now. He's in a league of his own. This is the part of the draft where you had all these scratch notes and this and that, and you're like, I really don't know what I'm doing right now.
Definitely gets harder here on out, for sure, for sure. I like the quick clock, though. Nothing worse than a longer draft that grinds out.
Absolutely.
I know he's not here right now, but JT would not be doing well with this pace.
Yeah, don't
to slow it down.
100%. And all his board's all Red Wings anyway. What's the wait? What are we waiting on? Just keep picking Red Wings.
Detroit and all the defensemen. That's all he does.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and draft here Joel Eriksson Ek. And he's a guy that's kind of forgot about based on his last year's results because he was often injured last year and usually is a pretty reliable guy. But Eriksson Ek is probably, besides Boldy and Kaprizov, he is the third best option on that team, center. He gets a lot of time on ice. He's involved in a lot of play. And I just think in the 8th round, Eriksson Ek is a very, very good value pick there. As is Adam Fox in the 8th round at 8-2 as well. So this is the time of the draft, everybody, where okay, you're going to see some variance. I think the first 5-6 rounds was very predictable on who was going to go for the most part. Now it's a matter of, okay, some swings are going to come up. People are going to start taking some swings. Young player like Fantilli. And then you got Verhaeghe coming up. Nick Ehlers falling to 8-5. A very, very good pick there. And signing that big deal in Carolina, actually coming over from Winnipeg. You got to expect big things from him as well. But now is a matter of start filling out the roster, start getting a second defenseman, knowing you need 4. You're going to start to see goalies actually come off the board here in the 8th round. This is the time where you're going to see guys start to take chances, and the board's going to get a little weird. And it's my turn to pick as I'm saying that. I'm getting a little weird myself.
So I know our pictures there. Those watching can't see, but looks like our heads are in the way there. But yeah, Fantilli at 8-3. Verhaeghe at 8-4, and then like you just said, Toast Ehlers at 8-5, which Carolina, and he hasn't been picked yet, so I probably shouldn't say his name. It sounds like Martini will gobble him up since he's have a run on the rookies or sophomores, I should say. But Stankoven had a pretty good playoff. He was one of the few that showed up for Carolina before they got dummied by Florida. Florida tossed him out like they always do, but he showed up. He had a very good playoff series.
I do feel like this is the part of the draft here where the forward board kind of dries up a little bit. You still got some really good players, but I think the best players are off the board. So now you're going to have a lot of players being at 3.5 to 3.5 fantasy points per game. They're all kind of the same. You're going to see a lot of variance. Now you're trying to figure out who's playing with whom, right? Who's going to get the best line deployment? Who's going to be able to be tied to the hip of one of these superstars and get their opportunity? So it's going to be really, really difficult from here on out. And maybe you're just going for best players on a team, right? You're like, hey, they're going to get all the time on ice. They're going to get the goals. They're going to get the shots, whatever. And you're taking that chance there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Second goalie off the board in Igor Shesterkin. Obviously, I think he's the bona fide second best goalie in the world. I don't think anybody's going to debate that.
Big coaching change in New York too, right? Like fresh blood. They can't be as bad as they were last year. Mike Sullivan coming in. Come on, New York.
Yeah, agree. And Shesterkin's not playing for the contract anymore. He got his money, so we should see the best of him. If they have any hope at all of making the playoffs, it'll be on his back. So I like the pick there.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and recap the 8th round here. And apologies, you're going to see a part of the draft board here. As everybody takes a pick, the draft board readjusts here. So we'll continue to work with that. But in the 8th round, Erickson Eck. And then we had Adam Fox, Adam Fantilli. Again, Fantilli going to 8-3. Again, a young player is actually showing a ton of promise on a Columbus Blue Jackets team that scores a crap ton. They score a ton. I'm going to move over our faces here and actually put us on a different view here. I think that's going to work out a little bit better. The screen will be a little bit smaller, but we're not going to block the draft board. Carter Verhaeghe for the defending world champions at 8-4. Nick Ehlers, 8-5, a steal. Roman Josi actually goes to Thrashers got a defensive core of Werenski and Josi. Not bad there. John Tavares, he slid to 8-7, mainly because of his age. But again, the deployment he's actually getting, he signs a great team-friendly deal. I think it was a $4.3 million deal for over the next 5 or 6 years. With a cap going up, you're seeing some of that. And then to round out the 8th round, Noah Dobson, a great defenseman, coming over to Montreal. Watch out for Montreal. And then Igor Shesterkin and Andrei Vasilevsky are second and third goalies to come off the board in round 8. All right. See what we actually have for goalies here. And I am going to go ahead and go goalie here. And I do think Ottinger. I like Ottinger for a lot of wins. And, he's just going to win games. And he's no slouch. I mean, last year, he ends up having a 909 save percentage last year. But if you look at his previous seasons, 911, 914, 919, 905. This is for a young player that's always been great, but he's on a great team. Going to get a ton of wins. He's going to get the majority of the shares, close to 60 games. A good goalie to hitch your wagon to there. As you can see, there's a goalie run now. Just looking at, is there goalies that are kind of in a league of their own? And I'm going to say there is. I'll go ahead and go Philip Gustafson here and get him from Minnesota. He's shown a lot of great things. And now those two teams have 2 defensemen, a goalie each either way, and now they can just go forward here for a while and to start to eat the board a little bit. And here's your goalie run.
Yeah. Time to do it.
Blackwood, another guy, is going to be by benefit of being on a great team. He's going to get a lot of wins. And they got 2 guys with the last name Wood, Blackwood and Wedgwood.
Ooh, Slav. Love that pick.
He's a sneaky banger league player. He hits. I mean, he'll have 150, 175 hits. PP1, 21 years old. I like him.
I do too. And when you look at that Montreal lineup, and we kind of talked about him a little bit before, he's one of the few on that team with size. I think he's 6'2", 6'3", so he's a little bit bigger than the rest of the team. Your Cole Caulfields, Nick Suzuki's, Demidov isn't terribly built either. But Slav kind of runs the show there, and I like him a lot. I think he's absolutely that key part moving those guys forward. Hopefully, can grab that playoff spot again there too.
I like Doriev actually going there at 9-9 to Vegas. If he gets top deployment there with Marner and Eichel, watch out. And you're just going to wonder, will Barbashev actually get that spot? It's kind of a toss-up here. Barbashev will probably be on line 2 with Stone there in Vegas. But, man, and Doriev actually had a great season last year. For a young player, couldn't be in a better situation.
Yeah. Actually looked at him, Dorofeyev, well, I mean, it's no secret. Chat GPT is out there and available, but it ran some numbers on him, and with Mitchie Marner and Jack Eichel, both pass first guys, he's a shoot first guy. Like I said, some of those Russians, they don't like passing. Expect big things. So it might be a little bit of a reach, but certainly had some. That was the thought of taking him at that point.
Any surprises, guys, so far that goalie started going 9th round? Is that about what we've experienced in the past?
Yeah, I think so. Also with this one, without drafting a bench, it kind of changes some things. There's a point where you kind of got to make sure you're filling out the roster. In this scenario where we aren't drafting bench players to come in as well. So kind of moving as we go here.
Makes sense. Still really good players out there. And we're flying through now some goalies and some defensemen. I think about every single team out there has got at least 2 defensemen and at least 1 goalie, except for the Hartford Whalers picking on the 3rd position there. Drafted by Aaron Tomatich. Did not have a goalie yet, but again, there's a couple good goalies out there. You got to start 2. So now you're going to see if teams feel really good about their forwards right now and decent about their defense, and are like, I'm just going to go win the goalie position. I want to get it done with and actually get these guys out of the way. You may actually find this, go ahead and start getting those 2 goalies out of the way early, so now they can just go forwards the rest of the way and skaters. That is a philosophy that you actually could take in the 9th and 10th round. I've done it myself many times where I'm decided I go back to back in the 9th and the 10th, get those goalies out of the way, and I'm good to go and I'm moving forward.
I thought the Whalers were just planning on knocking everybody out. He's got Olivier, Cooley, Sherwood. I see what he's doing.
I don't need goals. I don't need
goals. I'm just going to kick the shit out of you.
That's right.
Lots of good players still on the board here.
Absolutely.
What you're trying to do is it's like that diamond in the rough, that player where you're thinking I can be sneaky and actually come in and snipe him from everybody else. Again, I like to go basically projected shots on goal. 279 of them from Nazem Kadri. I'm not willing to actually do that for Calgary. I'm just not. What I'm actually wanting to actually do, and I probably will go ahead and just pull the trigger here for this. Frank Petrano, again, he's not Anaheim's top option. He may even be second power play, second line or whatnot. But for a guy that shoots 234 times last year and 169 hits, in this format, he's very valuable. If it wasn't 0.3 on the hits, Petrano would probably slip to the 13th or 14th round. But in the 10th round here, not bad. Yeah, the defense is actually dried up. And again, if I'm got Evan Bouchard on the Coyotes and Mackenzie Weegar here, both guys are going to shoot the puck. I'm going to continue to go that route, and I've kind of made my bed. Considering the skaters, there's nobody that I'm actually in love with at this point that I think is, my gosh, are just jumping off the page. I'll just go ahead and get Brandon Montour here for Seattle. 231 shots on goal last year and 100 hits, 100 blocks, 84 hits. And even Vince Dunn gets that number 1 deployment there on the power play. I still like him to go with Weegar, who gets 200 shots on goal as well, and Bouchard. So you got a lot of shots coming from the defensive spot.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick with the banger theme here. This guy could score, put pucks in the net, and he can score on the assist sheet. I think he's the up and coming player that St. Louis needs him to be, although I hate that team, can't stand him. But this guy's Jimmy Snuggerland is out there playing now. I think he's anticipated to get line 1 time even.
Yeah, I saw that.
Snuggerland, but Neighbors will be that character guy that Matt Olivier, Will Cooley just fits the profile for the Whalers. He's the guy we're after. He's the guy we're looking for.
I can tell you guys, as we move through this draft here, Jake Neighbors actually goes. We just talked about him. Rupe Hintz actually just went here to John Martini with the Stars at pick 10-9. We got guys that are ranked higher based on their last season projection, and plenty of them. But again, ranking doesn't mean everything. You got to look at your team as a whole and say, who's shooting a puck, who's actually getting goals, who's getting assists. Where do I actually need hits and blocks to kind of round out and make my team balanced anyway. So you got like Kadri still out there. You still got Alex DeBrincat, Kevin Fiala, Jordan Kyrou, Anders Lee, Zach Hyman, right? Hyman's a big name out there, and he actually had a down year last year and was injured. There's some big names still out there, but these aren't top tier names anymore. We're taking stabs at this point. So you're going to find out the 10th round all the way through the 16th round. And I love the Dylan Gunther pick there at 10-10.
Me too.
What a shot he's actually got, man. A guy's a snipe of a shot. I remember him playing versus the Hawks on opening night last year when we opened up our podcast, and man, lethal shot. It was the first time I really, really paid attention to him and saw him. But now you're just going to see it's going to be stabs here and there, and you're going to look for deployment. Who's playing with who at this point? Guys, anybody want to recap any of these last couple of rounds, the 9th and the 10th round, before we move on into the 11th round. I'm going to keep the draft going at this point.
You kind of touched on a little bit there, Toast. Dylan Guenther. Again, with a short amount of time, I think he probably slipped in this. Even with this redraft league, I mean, it goes without saying, if you're getting a dynasty league, this is your guy. You go in any kind of cap league, he's a league minimum guy for now. He hasn't signed his contract yet. At least I don't think he did. It might be an RFA next year, but great pick there. I think that might be the slip so far.
Yeah, my thought with going there, you're looking at guys that you kind of have seen, you kind of know what they're going to get. Kind of felt like he had a little more upside than other options.
For sure.
We got Aaron with the Whalers up at 11-3 here, and there's a couple really good players. There's a couple teams that got some really good players out there still. And again, I think a product of this is the fact that we don't have projected stats in front of us. We're actually using last year's. There's a couple injured players out there last year that didn't really get the stats they're accustomed to. They're still out there. I think normally that actually wouldn't have happened. There's a couple players that probably would have went well before, but it's just a product of kind of the environment we're in here in Fantrax right now. They have not released the stats here coming up. And while Marcus actually comes out and the Whalers get their first goalie, I'll go ahead and draft the guy I think it's actually slipped, even though we're not a huge fan of him on the podcast. But you get Elias Pettersson, man from Vancouver, and my guess is he probably would have went somewhere around 7, 8, 9, maybe even before, in the event that he wasn't down there in those points.
He was who I was looking at when I took Guenther. I just couldn't pull the trigger on him.
Yeah, and Guenther's a better pick there. I definitely like Guenther a lot better for sure.
And Pettersson, what a weird career it's been so far. He was kind of dogged on a little bit, not showing up in the playoffs when Vancouver did unexpectedly make the playoffs at Talk's first year, who's not even the coach there anymore. He didn't re-sign with them. So that says something. He got an offer, he knew the team, knew the system, and he chose to walk, and now he's coaching Philly. So, I don't know, a lot of question marks on that Vancouver squad. I'd be pretty nervous as a Vancouver fan, but Pettersson is just this enigma. Has the dust up with JT Miller. Okay, fine. Well, we've got Pettersson long term. Let's get rid of JT Miller. They do that. Pettersson still doesn't show up. Still doesn't put what numbers we've seen from him in the past. So just a big question mark on that guy. I couldn't agree more. And I know where you said you were looking at him and Guenther. I mean, definitely Guenther's on the way up, in my opinion. Pettersson might be on the way down. They might be at that crossroads right now. They might be on level ground, but in redraft dynasty, I think there's a way to go.
Yeah, and I'll say right here is two players actually went back to back at 11-5 and 11-6 are traded for one another, I believe, right? Josh Norris and Dylan Cousins. Yep. And those are two really good picks there, back to back. And Morris had a monster season last year, man. I'm going to show up the stats right now. So here's what I say: monster season last year. In only 56 games, 35 points. Doesn't sound like a ton, right? But 135 hits, 18 minutes and 21 time on ice. Faceoffs 413, 54% on the faceoffs as well. Shot 21.9%. Only 96 shots on goal. If health was actually there, you got to think he's pretty darn good. That's always the issue with Norris, right? He's always banged up. There's no doubt about it, man. But when Norris is out there, especially in a mini or regular Bangers League, he is really good. He averaged 4.57 points per game in a Bangers League last year. That is really good in that spot, but you're always taking a chance. But what a chance to take in the 11th round here. And we come back with a JJ Peterka as well. They're at 11-8 to the Cleveland Barons as well. And another player actually coming over from Buffalo to come to Utah. Man, in Utah. Anybody want to talk about Utah? And Logan Cooley that goes right behind him. Utah is on the move.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to save this for our preview show, but this is my sneaky pick for a play. They're going to grab a playoff spot this year. There's always that one or two teams that overachieve. Last year, you could probably, I don't know, maybe say Montreal, maybe you could say Ottawa. Both of them on the east side there, but in the Western, I think Ottawa's our team. Ottawa's the team, or I'm sorry, Utah. Utah is the team that's gonna sneak one of those wild card spots. They're ready. Paterka's gonna put them over the edge.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with that, Aaron. They've done amazing things there. I'm going to come back with Zach Hyman at 12-1. The value is just too good at 12-1. You got to think Hyman, if he doesn't bounce back this year, it could be it, right? And he's 33 years old, I think, coming off that injury. I think he's going to be ready for training camp. Didn't have the best season when he was actually in there last year, but man, deployment, not top 6 at Edmonton. You can't go wrong there. They got him tied up for at least 3 more years, I think, on the contract. So love Zach Hyman at 12-1. And then Colton Periaco coming out, man. Talk about a guy who actually especially just does a little bit of everything. I mean, 92 hits, 149 blocks, 125 shots on goal, and 36 points in 64 games. He's a guy that's actually overlooked. I really like his value this late in the draft.
Yeah, and again, you're kind of looking at you're looking at an up-and-coming team now. Outside of, and we talked about Utah, talked about the Sharks, talked about the Hawks. The Blues did kind of that again, and we've talked about it on past pods with that kind of rolling rebuild. They're not going to burn it down to the ground, but they are kind of in that rebuild mode. They've got younger guys that are kind of running the show there. And Parenko, I think he's going to be nothing but the recipient of good things and getting that puck up there, getting those fast, speedy forwards on the rush and just picking up, tons of assists. He's got a big shot back there on the point. He's about 7 feet tall, so he's just injuries have been his thing. Follow that up here to kind of continue the thought here as you're picking Toast. The next pick, again, just back-to-back there, just by teams. Kind of maybe a little bit of a stretch, but I really like what Quentin Byfield did in that first round. Yeah, the Oilers were all over the Kings for, the 3rd, 4th year in a row. But Byfield looked good. Been kind of waiting on him, and I know, Corey, you've had him in teams or in leagues before. You've drafted him. Gosh, I want to say you had him in our Dynasty league, so you know the player well from when he first came out. A slow start, but could this be the breakout year? I mean, what are your thoughts on him?
I've been waiting. I'm hoping it's this year. That's for sure. I'm invested in him. The peripherals seem to be there, so let's hope. Yeah,
I just think you look at a guy.
That was my goalie you just stole while you're talking. Come on. Just sitting on it, waiting for that pick.
I gotta look at your sheet there. But no, with Byfield, I think too, what guys will tend to do, and when you're doing your research, either for a redraft or a dynasty league, look at what people did in the playoffs. Like a guy like Wyatt Johnston, a guy like Matthew Nyes. They had a good playoffs the year before. Playoffs are the hardest, fastest hockey there is. If they can perform at that stage, it can usually translate into the regular season. It rarely goes the other way. A regular season merchant like Panarin, he had the last time he was in the playoffs, he had a very good playoffs. Up until then, he's been non-existent. Whether he played for the Hawks, played for the Rangers, he's been terrible in the playoffs with the exception of one playoff run where he did fairly well, but you very rarely see a great regular season player it's common to see a good or decent regular season player, but it just doesn't translate to the playoffs. So I look at those guys that play in the playoffs, and it translates to the regular season more often than not.
Yeah, and while we're actually here, in great context there, I'm going to recap for the listeners, and again, who actually don't have this live stream here, what's transpired in the last few rounds. We're going to go ahead and talk the 11th, 12th round here, what happened. We had Jacob Chikrin in the 11th at 11-1, Kyrou, Jacob Markstrom, Elias Pettersson 11-4, Josh Norris 11-5, Dylan Cousins 11-6, UC Saros, good goaltending option here at 11-7, a volume starter for sure, 11-8, J.J. Paterka, Logan Cooley 11-9, and Sam Montebeau 11-10 in a more improved Montreal team. and you got to think he's going to be getting the majority of the starts. And then 12th round, Hyman, Periaco, Byfield, Tomas Hertl, very good value in the 12th round there. Miro Heiskanen, who is going to be able to take a lot of hits, a lot of blocks. He's going to play second fiddle there to Thomas Harley on the power play, but he's still going to get some power play deployment on the second line. And Shea Theodore, same thing at 12-6 there. A guy who, again, has been banged up from time to time, but when he's in there, he is actually running that power play one for a juggernaut of a Vegas team. And then Kevin Fiala at 12-7, Lucas Dostal at 12-8, 12-9 Vince Dunn, and then Nazem Kadri, a shots machine with close to 280 of them last year at 12-10. And we're coming back at 13-1, Joey Decord, Alex DeBrincat, actually very good value in the 13th round at 13-2, and Luke Hughes. Let's see if Hughes can actually take a step forward there for the Whalers. And the Whalers actually gets their second defenseman with Dobson and Hughes, and then Jacob Markstrom and Lucas Dostal with the goalies. And then now we'll see if that Whalers team happens to go a little bit of forward heavy here. We got to get a couple more defensemen, right? Every team's got to have 4 defensemen starting. We have no bench. This is a little bit different. So you're probably going to see a lot of defensemen still come off the board here. And I'm up with the Coyotes here. And we got some guys that are available still. I'm going to go ahead and reach here a little bit. And a guy does not hit. He does not actually block a whole lot at all. But again, great deployment on a really, really good team. And I'll go ahead and take Logan Stankoven here if there's 13-4. The former Dallas Star actually now is a Carolina. And we understand how Carolina likes to play. They're not offensive sexy, but the team is so good. I think it'll be a product of actually just being around really, really great players.
And you think, we talked about Ehlers before. You had that guy in the mix. You got Stankoven, you got Aho, you got Svechnikov. These are all good forwards, really good, above average. I mean, your line 1 and line 2 is really shoring up for Carolina. As boring as they are to watch, and maybe not the head and shoulders above superstar. I think they could do some damage. At this point, I'm looking at the East, like who's building the team that can beat Florida at this point? Like
there's nobody.
Maybe it's
sorry.
Right. Yeah.
There
Quick
ain't
answer
nobody
on that. Yeah. It's true. They just play when it counts. Wow, what a team.
Yeah.
I think what you find too at this point in the draft, guys, I like you're looking, rounds 11, 12, 13. There's some specialists out here, guys that don't hit a ton, but they are PP1, like DeBrincat, Fiala, Hertl, Hyman, Cooley, Peterka. So like as you're drafting, as you're going through this exercise, understand that you get to this point in the draft, there's still snipers out there.
Absolutely. You know what? And John, well said. And I tell you what, there's another one there. A great pick at 13th round, 6th pick, Owen Tippett. Owen Tippett, really like that as well. Again, a guy's going to hit, and he's going to block in this. It does a little bit of everything. He's not flashy, but he's still young. You got to think that he is their second best option there. They have Mason McTavish actually come in. It'll be interesting to see. I never could imagine Mason McTavish actually being a Philadelphia Flyer. It just doesn't set well with me or whatnot. But you got Owen Tippett, man. He's a good pick here this late, and they're McTavish. Did I say McTavish? I meant Zegras. My bad.
Yeah.
But McTavish actually goes at round 13, right behind him in Anaheim. But Trevor Zegras actually being a Philadelphia Flyer is what I meant to say.
Boy, these defensemen are really thinning out. Wow.
Yeah, we got to make sure we get 4 of them, and that'll be tough.
This may have been a case. So this may have been a case where too much time expired. So you got to be careful of that. So kind of what I'm looking now to kind of walk you through the thought process here, the listeners through the thought process is, where do I see assists? I'm dialing in on assists. The goals and the PP1 guys like Martini, you were just talking about, some of those guys, they are still there, more for the forwards, the defensemen and the quarterbacks, the power play. A lot of those guys are gone with those couple of tier defensemen. So kind of a stretch, but I see Anaheim as one of those up and coming teams.
Yep.
So
I've been looking at him.
You got Lacombe, coming at us now, and then with the Flames, who are a little bit more defensively sound. If I'm looking at the entire team, still a little light on defense, though. Again, with my assists, so really I'm dialing in on those assists. I'm going John Carlson to get the puck up, and it's really tied down with the OV. Again, I couldn't agree more with you, John. I think Ovechkin's on the, what's motivating him? I mean, a cup run, probably. Well, who doesn't want to win it? But I think the Capitals had a little bit of a gaffe there. They announced that it was his last year. Took it back within hours that it's not his last year. Realistically, I think it might be. So I don't know. I don't know if Carlson's going to get as many assists as what we've been seeing the last few years. We'll see.
And what we're seeing now is this a run of defensemen here that are coming off the board because teams are very desperate to go fill out their roster to get those 4 spots. I would say normally in a real life draft, you're not going to have that because we're going to have so many rounds, and you're going to have teams that are waiting till maybe the 20th, 21st, 22nd to fill out their defensive roster. So this is a little bit abnormal, but I'm going to go ahead and pick a guy here. I went Darnell Nurse, who's always safe, especially in a mini bangers league, to actually get plenty of hits, blocks, and do everything else. And I'm going to go ahead and come back with Charlie McAvoy. I think McAvoy is a guy for Boston who, again, has been banged up, but he is definitely, there's no doubt, he is the number 1 option on that power play. Somebody's got to score on that team. I think that McAvoy is a good steal there in around 14.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Last year, he was a tier 2, tier 3 defenseman. I mean, I'm not really overly excited to see what Boston's doing. Again, I think it's no secret, major regression ahead for those guys, but still he's still a 1A top defenseman in the league. I like that pick a lot there.
Yeah, and what teams are doing now, they're just looking to see who they need, right? They have 2 or 3 picks left. Who do they actually need to fill out their roster? And they're taking some stabs at some players. And feel free, guys, as some players actually go off the board here and you really, really like the picks, chime in. Let us know what you actually like. Listeners will actually take that away and maybe try to target these players late in drafts.
I like that Seth Jones pick. Really,
he's gonna quarterback the power play, right?
Yeah, he really stepped up, looked a lot better once he got on Florida.
He's not going to get a ton of hits, right? He's, again, a little bit of a specialist, a little bit of a power play guy. That's where your points are going to come from. But, again, PP1 on the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions, I'll take it. 14th round.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that a lot. What I'm looking for now in defensemen, if I actually have to round it out, I'm looking for guys that actually shoot the puck, get hits, and actually get blocks as well. And I don't even care if I actually have to take a stab, even at a player who may be often injured. But if they're trying to, I want them to shoot. I want them to actually do all the peripherals as well and to be safe. And there's just not a whole lot of guys out there that actually do that at this time. But a guy that I've actually always liked is Neil Pionk. I think Pionk, behind Morrissey, if Morrissey were to ever actually go down, he's going to actually get some power play one time. He's just a real safe pick this late in the draft. He plays on a real good team. He can sneak in and actually get some points. So I like Pionk there that late. And you're going to see a round of defensemen here come off the board now, guys, because we're all just desperate to just fill it out the 4. And then normally I don't think this would actually happen like this, but we're taking stabs at another player who's actually Aaron Ekblad. Ekblad is actually projected to also actually be in there on the hook for power play 1 as well. But Florida's so deep, they're so good, you never know where he's going to play. But he's been a safe pick. He just signed another contract, 6-year contract for an older player. He's going to be around a while. He ain't going anywhere. He's coming off that injury. He showed after that he was fairly durable. So Ekblad that late's pretty good. And then you're getting into some bangers. Rocco Gudis. Erik Karlsson came out the board as well. Now guys are finishing up defense, and you can maybe see a little bit of another run on some stabs here. At this point, you're maybe looking at your first week and your second week, and you're looking at schedule. Who's actually going to get me the most starts, right? Because these are droppable players at this point. This late, you may stream them for a bit, and then actually drop them. If they don't work out week 1, you're like, I'm done with them. I may just drop them all together. So you're swinging for the fences at this point. And we're in a very shallow draft, right? Imagine if we're going 25 rounds. So there's still a lot of value out there. It's just in this format here with a 16 players per team, 10 players, it's starting to dry up. Now this is where you get in a draft where you're looking at your roster. We haven't done a whole lot of looking at the roster. Where are we? But I imagine everybody's doing that now.
Yeah, and I'm looking at kind of the strategy. So what develops here, and this is kind of interesting and unique to this format. Oh, there he goes.
Nice.
Emidoff, good pick there. But kind of getting the character of these teams. Like if this was a lone standalone team, like especially with this first team I've got out here on the board, the Whalers, that third overall pick, it kind of stuck with the banger theme there. Like, again, you put a number to it. We were talking about it before we kicked off the draft. Is just look at those guys at 3.5 or 4 point type guys, type players that are, they can win you games. They can kind of grind it out. Here's my stretch for this team. Doesn't fit the theme, but the 1-1 pick, Matthew Schaefer, little risky there. I don't think he plays, but it's kind of, if he does, it could be an electric pick there at that. But haven't really read anything convincing that he comes out. Defense is hard to start when you're 18, 19, however old he is. It's a tough run.
I'm going to ask right now, has any Seattle players been picked? And I'm not saying that any Seattle players should be picked.
Vince Dunn for sure.
Dunn. Yep, Dunn's actually went off the board, but I don't know if anybody else has actually come off the board.
Okay, right?
Yeah, so the defensemen have come off the board, but not a single forward's actually come off the board. And Jared McCann actually had a really down year last year. And this is a guy, if you actually look, McCann, he's used to actually putting up pretty good stats. And last year, 61 points in 82 games, 202 shots on goal. He doesn't hit and block a ton, 50 of each. But you expect a little bit more out of him. This is a guy that now is 29 years old. But I think this late in the draft, if you can get a player projected best forward, and Capo Caco could be their best forward this year. He really was on a roll there for a bit. I really like him. But I think McCann is worth a stab here to this late in this draft. Not a single forward taken, but now he's actually been off the board here.
Mason Marchment's in Seattle now too, right?
My gosh, he's still around.
Yes,
he's still out here, but he's another guy. Seattle, I don't know. I know I'm the crack house slumlord, but I don't trust their offense at all.
Yeah. It seemed like took a couple of steps back last year. Had a surprising run. First year they were in the league, and then seemed to regress a little bit last year. So yeah, it's a tough call to say that they're. Nothing tells me, there's nothing compelling that tells me they'll regain that magic, or they'll kind of set the world on fire. We'll see.
I'm going to pick here as a dynasty shout out. Young kid, Toast, you're going to love it. This guy's going to be quarterback in the PP1 in Calgary by the end of the year. Zane Perez.
Yes, you got some shares. Absolutely.
I do have some shares. I'm invested in that kid.
We basically did the same thing back to back. I'm a big believer in Nikishin in Carolina.
Yeah.
Yes.
Round 15, 16, like you said, Toast, these are stabs. These are shots in the dark. These are kind of league winners, right? Like these dark horses that are going to get more time than they're a little bit unknown. They're going to get more time than people realize.
Absolutely. And again, most leagues are actually going to go ahead and go, 22, 23, 24 rounds, at least 20 rounds in a redraft and not 16. We're going to have a bench of at least 5-6 players. So, you still got really good players here. Again, the one thing I want listeners to take away from this draft is the fact that not this many defensemen be going stacked up in the 13th, 14th, and 15th round if we had 20 rounds. It would be more spread out. So this is actually what's happening, a product of our format, but I kind of like it. It's going to give you still a good indication of who's going to go where. I took Aiden Hill there in the 15th round. Hill, good value there for a second goal he actually needed. Now I'm actually drafting for the Rockies, and I need a forward and a skater. So I'm actually all down to forwards here. And boy, like a Brian Rust is still out there. I mean, he's, again, a guy that's actually hurt here and there. But boy, if you actually look at Rust with Crosby, he is a really, really good option. I mean, he really is with Rickard Rakell. He's their top 3 options. So I'll go ahead and go Brian Rust here. He doesn't do much in the peripherals, but he'll actually help out there. And then coming back, another guy here, you got to think, Morgan Geekie. We talked about him before it even started when Pasta went in round 1. Morgan Geekie is a guy who is 27 years old. He had 33 goals and 24 assists for 57 points in 77 games last year, 150 shots on goal. That 22% shot percentage is definitely going to come down. There's no doubt. But he only had a minute 48 of power play time on ice per game. I think that could actually double it. He could get close to 3 minutes and 17 minutes. I'm thinking he's going to have similar numbers this year. And again, they're going to rely on him a lot more. Geeky could be a sneaky pick here for in the 16th round for a team just kind of rounding out the roster. And we are rounding up here. And at the end, what we'll do is real quick, we'll actually bring up all of the teams' rosters and just take a quick look. And then we'll maybe just kind of make an assessment here and see, is there a roster that really stands out, and so we'll attempt to do that. We'll also post this on our FIF hockey page. You can actually find Fantasy and Frames Hockey at FIF on the X. We were wrapping up here, and we were going to be, right when the draft started, we were going to be in and around an hour and 35, which is not bad for a 16-round draft.
Finally, your crackers.
There's a banger.
Yeah.
Ooh, Marco Rossi. Very good. I had him queued.
There's actually rumors. If I don't have his contract information in front of me, but I've heard his name brought up on the trade block, which, as a Hawks fan, that would be great news because we certainly have the money to pay him long term.
I'm all for it.
I like what I've seen out of him. I mean, again, it's one of those slow starts. I kind of look back at the Quentin Byfield when we were talking about him earlier. But his last 2 seasons, again, building on top of one another, he's certainly improved. Statistically, he's improved.
I'm going to take Joseph Wall here. Interesting goalie situation in Toronto. You got a combination of Wall and Stolars, and Stolars really played well last year. But Wall, they got to want Wall to actually have this spot long term. He's definitely the guy of the future. He's already proven in the NHL that he can actually do the job. So I think in the 16th round, rounding out this last 2, you get somebody's 1A and 1A for each team. You come out with Aiden Hill and then come back with Joseph Wall. That's not bad if you're actually going to wait for goalies, and you got Gustafson as well. But if you're going to wait for goalies all the time, not bad there. I think I may have just goofed because can I even actually pick a third goalie? Probably not.
I would guess not. I don't think.
Yeah. So let me see what actually happened there. Let me retract that pick because I screwed that up. Undo the last pick, and let's go ahead and just redo that real fast. I need a skater. Yeah, Pierre-Luc Dubois, a guy who everybody hates, right? I mean,
well, at least last year he found a home. Columbus, yeah.
He found a home there in Washington last year.
Yeah.
And rounding out the Coyotes roster here, again, another goalie. That's when I'll go ahead and actually grab. Let's go ahead and grab Joseph Wall there. We got 3 more picks here, and then we'll bring up each team and take a quick look and do a final assessment. And appreciate all the listeners staying with us. It's been a really good first mock draft here for 16 rounds for your redraft league. I do like Matt Duchene there in the 15th round for the Stars for John Martini. Very good value for an aging player that's still unbelievably productive. Like him in this format. I actually have him in our home league as well. Have no intentions of giving him up. Duchene, a great value in the 15th round.
Without looking, how old is Duchene?
I think he is 34.
34.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Oh.
Very
34.
good. Very
Yep,
good.
yep.
You know, that's not that old. That's productive year last year. Plays on a good team. Third line center. I mean, great value.
Guys, I'm going to throw a couple names out there still. Brock Besser's still out there. Thatcher Demko is actually still out there as well. And Demko is actually a fairly reliable goalie when he's actually healthy. And we have actually wrapped up our draft for Valerie Nichushkin. Another player who actually was undrafted was Gabe Landeskog. Did not actually get drafted. I don't think Patrick Kane got drafted either. No surprise there with Kaner, but then again, he's a pretty good player. Matt Zuccarello, I don't think actually got picked. And let's keep going down the board here. There's a couple guys that are still out there.
There's a ton. There's Mark Stone, Gabe Velarde. None of these guys went. It's wild.
Yeah. And here's the deal: if we didn't actually have these 4 defensemen that have to go, these guys would have actually went in their spot. They would have went there, and we actually would have waited on a lot of these defensemen. So these are guys that we're mentioning right now. You can get in the 13th, 14th, 15th round, and those are great value picks that late. Gabe Velarde for Winnipeg, another pick. Ivan Barbashev, I actually like for Vegas as well. Ryan Nugent Hopkins never went, did he?
No, Ryan O'Reilly.
Edmonton?
No.
Yeah,
Dylan
Ryan
Strome.
O'Reilly for Nashville. Dylan
Strome's out
Strome.
there.
I mean, there's a lot of really, really good players. Again, your format's going to dictate specifically how you would actually draft, but you saw what we did. We had to go defense heavy at the end and goalies heavy at the end to round out the rosters. But imagine if this is 21, 22, 23 rounds. Those are the players you would actually take in their spot. They would have went perfect right there. They would have actually been. So let's go ahead and go.
Stamkos went undrafted. Stamkos.
Yeah.
Marchessault.
Yeah.
Everyone hates the Predators.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let me come out of here and let's go ahead and let's look at a couple rosters. All right. And let me see if I can actually do this in a way where I'm going to go ahead and see if I can share a different screen. And we're going to wrap this up, guys. Let me stop sharing.
While you're getting that
Okay.
posted. Oh, go ahead.
Anyway, I'm just going to bring up a couple of these rosters here. Again, you can see the entire roster there as a whole. So just going to show them for, 20, 30 seconds, take a glance at them. We'll actually click through each one of these here. Those are actually on the call here, maybe to say, hey, this is actually team right now. This is actually team Coyotes. This is my Toast Clark team. And I'm just going to maybe sort by fantasy points per game here. A lot of 2s, right? That's not all that great. You actually don't want that, especially in a format. We don't have a single 5 player that was actually last year. This team here, probably not one of the better teams. Got some good players, but I would think there's some top-heavy teams that are a little bit better. Let's go to another one here. And you were saying, sorry, Aaron.
Oh no, just overall, like again, if there's anything to be learned here, it's just kind of feel the flow of the draft. So many things can change. You go in with a strategy. I mean, anybody can kind of mock out the first 4 rounds, but like you said, the defensive run. Now the 4 of us happen to be of like mind of forward heavy, defense last. Well, look how the draft ended up. No surprise there. After tier 1 and tier 2 defensemen left, you got to be ready for that. Be ready for that and kind of go with the flow. You don't take. I don't know. I'm a big advocate, especially in fantasy sports. Best player available. You can always come back, and I think a couple of times we've talked about trade bait. Load up on forwards. You can always trade for a defenseman. and those goalies come up and they creep out of nowhere. You talked about taking Joseph Wall. Well, there's 3 guys in Toronto this year that can probably maybe take that one spot. Maybe wait till November and then make your decision on one of those goalies, or just get a spot filler. But just keep your eye on Toronto. Who's got the net? That team wins a lot of regular season games. They don't win anything in the playoffs, but they win a lot of regular season games. So just keep an eye on a team like that.
Yeah, and I'll mark down this Coyotes team I actually have as a team so far that I kind of like, and I want you guys to maybe pick out a team that you actually like that you drafted. Who are the Flames here for Aaron as well? Again, a very balanced team here. Again, Kachuk and Nylander. After that, you got, so I would say, not top tier players, but good players. Some guys that are actually going to score, but one of these teams where, there's probably better teams out here. And this is we were tasked with a really hard job, is to draft multiple teams at one time. That's very, very difficult. It's going to be a stab in the dark on who actually drafted the best, because quite frankly, we weren't all paying attention to one team. We were simply just drafting based on order, based on need, and just kind of putting best foot forward here. Our philosophy would have been much different if we were actually just concentrating on one team alone.
Stretch with this one, I'd say, is the William Eklund, but somebody's got to lead the charge with the young guys. Celebrini's superstar talent. Is he going to be superstar next year? Maybe, maybe not. A lot of people were down on Bedard this year, but that's just because he's in a major media team, and the Hawks are terrible. But I look at a guy like Eklund, who's got a couple years under his belt, young himself. He's going to have a lot of open sticks, a lot of open ice out there to play with. So he could be a guy that comes up. But yeah, other than that, pretty well balanced. I like this team a lot. What is this? Yeah, this is the 1-1 with McKinnon.
This is the Nords, yeah, and I would say this is the best team so far. Not just with the projection points per game based on what they did last year, but you could just tell top to bottom, really balanced, especially with their forwards that are actually down here with Genser and Batherson and Holloway as well. This is going to be a pretty darn good squad, I would imagine.
I think Holloway would have blown away the numbers if he hadn't got injured when he got injured. He was on pace for a great year. So yeah, this is a tremendous team right here. I really like how it ended up.
And let's take a look at here the Rockies for me. Again, you got Kaprizov, Eriksson, Ek on the same team, Makar, first defenseman off the board, Crosby, Suzuki, Kempe. Again, a solid team all the way around. I like the goaltending there as well. I don't think that's the best team yet. And let's take a look at a couple more here. John Martin, we haven't looked at a single team at you yet, but we're getting there.
It's all good. One of the things that jumps out at me, again, just this format, and just for listeners out there, I know we kind of dismissed defensemen a little bit, but in this format, 16 roster spots, 4 of which are defensemen. The defenseman tiers are much smaller than the forward tiers, right? So that just as you're drafting, be very mindful. There is a stark contrast between the top 10 or 12 defensemen and everybody else. So prioritize maybe those top 1 or 2 guys. Try and get 1 or 2 of those top guys early, and then settle in after that.
Yep.
This
is a young team right here.
I was just going to say that. Imagine this team in a dynasty team. This is your 1A team right here.
Yes.
You got Veggie, you got Hudson, you got
Cosby and Mishkov and Rossi and
Nice. Yeah, you got them all.
Hudson on that team is the lowest fantasy points per game. How is that possible?
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good team. I would say not the best for this format. Good team for this format, but great for Dynasty.
Yeah, this team
and John Martino with the Stars.
Wow.
Let's take a look here.
So go back to that team. I was sitting there trying to figure out, I'm like, why does he not have like a power forward? That was the one where Hellebuck went number 1.
That's right.
Let's take a look at that. Was that the Seals? Yeah, let's take a look at that real quick.
Yeah. I was sitting there staring at it. I'm like, who in the world went first? And then I'm like, oh, yeah.
And guys, here's a good team. I would say not only was it actually great for Dynasty, but a really good team in general as well. And Hellebuck actually went 1. You come back with Saros as well. You win a position. You got some big swings there with Michkov, Mason McTavish there as well. I like Slavkovsky actually does a little bit of everything there as well. Stutzle, Nyes, Hurdle was a late pick, and I like that as well. Good team. We'll see if it was actually maybe the best team, but I say solid team right there. So no problem. If you get a Hellebuck early, first, second round, you can still have a really good team. Stars here. I'm getting ready to run out of headset charge. This was the team that actually had the second overall pick here, and a very balanced team. McDavid, Kachuk, Panarin, Celebrini, DeBrincat, Hentz, Larkin, Duchesne. The majority of these guys actually come from teams that actually can score. Let's take a look at the Thrashers.
Yeah, we lost your audio.
Nope, no audio there. Okay, yep. Yeah, so Thrashers, I don't see enough bangers on this team. I'm not sure who drafted it, but it's trash. All right,
we'll trash all of his.
Yeah. Move on to the next one. That one's garbage. Oh no, now he's getting up. All right, well, yeah. So anybody that doesn't have access to the screen, this is kind of these are stretches. This is not a good team. You got Ovechkin, no good. Pastrnak, Pasta in the first round, not a great pick. Jack Hughes, he breaks his shoulder every year. Zach Werenski, he outkicked his coverage last year.
Yeah.
Sebastian Aho, now he's splitting ice time with all those forwards they got. Sam Bennett only plays in the playoffs. Josh Norris, he's garbage. Timo Meyer, he's hurt all the time. Vetrano, he's playing with a bunch of kids. Roman Yossi's the first decent player I'm seeing. Pierre-Luc
he may
Dubois.
not be in play. He's got concussion problems. Yossi might be done.
Oh my goodness! Really? I did not know that. Oh my.
Yeah, he's not. He's got a weird. I don't know all of it, but he's got a weird concussion type of deal going on. He may not be ready for training camp.
Oh, we're all the way down to Brock Nelson. We're towards the end of this roster before we could say a good thing about this team, and he's third line in Colorado? I don't know, Toast. I'd take that rookie team over this one any day of the week. This one's going nowhere. This is the old man team. This looks like your team that you drafted in the home league, Jensen, the one when before you start making trades. Toast, can you hear us? Can you flip to the next team? I'm tired of looking at this one. Nope. We
can't hear you, but we can see you.
I hope you can hear us because we're going at you. You're muted. All right, flip the team. Can you flip the team? Let's see if we can get him in the chat.
Get us over to the Whalers so we can make fun of Aaron's team here.
Oh, no, this is team one. I'm waiting on this one. Here we go. Here's your this is the banger team. So again, strategy here. So you started out with Leon. You got Kyle Connor, you got Tage Thompson. There's your goal. There's your point, guys. Seth Jarvis, he's not going to get any hits. He's going to get you points. Now you got your Marty Natchez, again, point guy. Now you got your bangers. Sherwood, Cooley, Matthew Olivier. All those guys. I think Jake Wallman on defense there. He's in the skater spot there. He played well in the playoffs. He played well, fits well with Edmonton. Looked like he was okay. Now, let's throw out those last two games where they actually lost the cup. Noah Dobson, bit of a stretch there. We'll see what he does in Montreal. Gudis, a banger. Luke Hughes, can't go wrong with the Hughes brother. Schaefer, that was a waste of a pick. I shouldn't have done that. Decent goaltending, though. But this is the team that doesn't need the goals. They'll beat you week to week, though. They'll just wear you out. I like this team a lot. Not the best. Second best, we'll say.
Anybody hear me now?
We can hear you finally. Yeah. You did terrible on that last team.
Yeah. Headset went out, and is there anything worse? Headset was a couple minutes ago in the podcast.
All right, let's go on to the next one. This one is really
that
good.
Is
we
it.
all agree.
That's all of them.
Last one? Oh, well then.
That's all of them. Yeah, and what we'll do is we'll actually post these. We'll post results on X. I'll actually get those on the @FIF Hockey tomorrow. Guys, I think what we're going to do is we're going to continue to actually have these sporadically up until the October 7th opener, where we actually have, I believe, 3 or 4 games that night on October 7th. And we're going to do a live cast, again, like we did last year from my back porch. that'll be a whole lot of fun. We'll have JT back in the fold. I am. Let's see here. Let me. I'm going to tell you guys now. It has been a pleasure being with you guys tonight, doing this mock draft. I think anytime you mock draft, it's always like Christmas morning a little bit. Doesn't matter if it's going to be your team for 1 minute like it was tonight or the entire season. It's always fun. So make sure to tune in. We are Fantasy and Frames hockey podcast. We'll be on every single Tuesday night at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. And next week, I do not know exactly the topic, but we will be back. And we will continue to do these mock series throughout the season. I am Brian Toast Clark, at Toast Clark on the X. Aaron Tomatich, a co-host here at Titch4141. And I want to thank John Martini, a reoccurring guest here on Fantasy and Frames, and Corey Jensen, a first-timer who did very well tonight. Thank you very much, guys, for your time. And again, let's go ahead and stay plugged into hockey. We don't really care too much about football. Who cares about football, right? Let's stay with actually hockey. And thank you so much, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks for having us. See you, Toast.